another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is P. Fitz, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the April 10th issue of the Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Village of Lewiston looking to partner on pickleball courts. New pickleball courts could be in place at Richard Soluri Park as soon as this summer. Youngstown resident and professional engineer John Battaglia presented a proposal to the Village of Lewiston Board of Trustees to add 4 pickleball courts and perhaps a pavilion to the Plateau spoils area between the dog park and the bird habitat. He was joined by Town of Lewiston Supervisor Steve Broderick in presenting the pitch. Recently, a group of us in the last 4 or 5 years has been playing pickleball. It seems to be the sport of our age, Battaglia said at Monday's work session. A group of about 12 to 16 of us have been going around and finding places to play. Over a period of time, we've been playing at the Kiwanis Park. We've been playing at the Senior Center parking lot. That's worked, and worked out somewhat for us. He shared this information with trustee Tina Coppins, whom he said recommended connecting with the town of Lewiston to put together a project. Battaglia spoke with Broderick and Village of Lewiston Mayor Ann Welsh prior to this presentation. It's great that we've got a group of people that are trying to put something together that I think a lot of us will enjoy, Battaglia said. The courts would be built on either a paved asphalt or reinforced concrete surface. 3 of the recreation area's sides would be bordered by fence, while a wind-breaking wall would be on the 4th side. About 8,000 square feet would be utilized. Other amenities could include solar lighting, additional parking spaces, and a 50 by 50 or 40 by 40 foot pavilion previously considered by the municipality for the waterfront. Broderick said the bathroom is not a part of the proposal as a sewer connection is untenable. Battaglia said he is in contact with Lewiston Porter football and cheer about the recreational area, as the group has used a larger portion of the spoils field. Broderick said the town has been looking for pickleball locations for a couple of years now. The one problem with pickleball is if you Google it, it is the noise. So you really don't want to put it in a neighborhood park because you'd get a lot of complaints about noise. That ruled out more courts at Kiwanis Park or even down at Pletcher Field. Up here, where the dog park is, was a perfect location because you're not going to have any disturbance from neighbors or anything. You can have courts where you can have courts there, lighted. You're not going to bother anybody. It was a perfect spot for it. Obviously, it is controlled by the village. It would be a village decision. It would be a town greenway project. We are probably going to tie it in with a 2-court pickleball court at Lewiston number 2 Fire Hall. So it will have, it will be one greenway presentation for this, and including a pavilion and a 2-court pickleball court at Lewiston number 2 Fire Hall. Broderick did not have a firm project cost in hand, but speculated the project could cost upward of $400,000 to $500,000 to be funded through the Niagara River Greenway. He noted, John being an engineer is saving us engineering costs. In-kind services, that's huge, with work that could be completed by the town and village of Lewiston laborers at the site. It's something that we would love to do, Broderick said. We'd love to combine with the village and provide it. The pickleball courts would be open to the public. Trustees voted to endorse the town's Greenway application. I think this is going to be a great addition up here, Welch said. It's really nice. America 250. Second District, Niagara County Legislator Michael Cassell presented the village board with the America 250 flag. This will be the village of Lewiston's flag to fly proudly on the flagpole, he said. The Niagara County Legislature back in 2023 created the America 250 Committee. They've been working really hard to put together a list of the recognition type events to commemorate our 250th birthday, which is going to be happening on July the 4th. The flag represents that birthday, the 250th year. He noted every municipal town hall, city hall, village hall will be flying these flags. Cassell also gifted each trustee with a commemorative America 250 coin. The National America 250 campaign is described as a nonpartisan effort celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, culminating July 4th, 2026. Budget approved. The village board adopted the budget for the fiscal year 26-27 in the total amount of $5,304,407. Authorized the levy of real property taxes for the tax warrant, directing the clerk to receive and collect taxes in the amount of $1.388,612.49. A re-levy of water and sewer charges in the amount of $32,759 for a total warrant to collect $1.421 million, and to establish the tax rate at $88.60 per $1,000 assessed value. No residents offered comments during the public hearing held prior to the vote. See more budget details online at WNYpapers.com. Mark your calendars. Trustees approved more spring and summer events, including requests from the Lewiston Garden Club to stage its annual perennial plant sale from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, May 16th at the Academy Park Pavilion. Veterans of Foreign Wars, Down River Post 7487, to hold its annual Memorial Day ceremony from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday, May 25th at Academy Park. The YMCA Buffalo Niagara to offer yoga classes from 10 to 11 a.m. on Sundays, June 7th through August 30th at Academy Park. Catching Dreams Charters to oversee a fishing tournament fundraiser from 7 a.m. to noon on August 7th at Lewiston Landing Park. In Lauren, Tonoma, to host a Native American Music and Arts event from 5 to 9 p.m. Friday, August 14th at Hennepin Park. Scoops on Center gearing up for first full summer in Lewiston. Ice cream shop located next to Spicy Pickle. If you enjoy spicy pickles, burritos, bowls, and nachos, then we've got a scoop for you. There's a new taco in town, and it's made with ice cream. Scoops on Center Pickle proprietor Aaron Rotella's second business in the 400 block of South Center Street, open Wednesday for its second season. The sweet shop serves Ashby Sterling ice cream, something unique in the Western New York dessert industry. They're out of Michigan, Rotella said. They have a lot of unique flavors, including OO cheesecake, described as creamy cheesecake ice cream with crushed Oreo cookies swirled in it. Cool Mint Cookie, which is mint ice cream with chocolate-covered mint cookie balls. Andy's Mints and the chocolate cookie fudge swirl. Bake Shop creamy cookie dough ice cream with chocolate chip brownie bites. There are a number of other flavors. That they have. There's a ton of them. It was pretty good, he added. It's a good product. Everybody's used to the local ones, but it's nice having something different. People that come in love it. There's a lot of different flavors that you don't see in Western New York, Rotella said. Team leader Annie Conrad said, all the ice creams that we've tried are just so good. I just feel like with the names and the flavors, everything about it is different than the locals can find at other eateries and stores. It just gives us more of an exotic ice cream range of flavors. Scoops on Center offers cones, bowls, milkshakes, in addition to an assortment of novelty items such as Sunday Fun Day, a pairing of vanilla, chocolate, or twist soft serve with sauce, peanuts, whipped cream, and cherry. The Whippin' Whirlpool, which teams vanilla chocolate or a twist of soft serve a choice of 3 toppings with whipped together and crowned with ice cream. They're trying to make it a fun environment and setting where it's comfortable, Conrad said, even with the wallpaper being up, displaying ice cream themed art. She noted we are working on our different specials, such as on Fridays you get free toppings. Wednesdays we'll do specialty milkshakes of the for the same price as a regular milkshake, and we're going to try and come up with different things every week. Scoops on Center is open from 4 to 8:30 p.m. Weekdays and 2 to 8:30 p.m. on weekends at 465 Center Street, right next to the Spicy Pickle. Find it online and on Instagram and Facebook. They're in the first week of April. That was passed, so anyway, you could have gotten 50% off. Village of Lewiston GOP Election Caucus. The Village of Lewiston Republican Election Caucus will take place at 7 p.m. sharp Wednesday, April 22nd at the Red Brick Municipal Building, 145 North 4th Street, the gymnasium entrance. In this year's election, the mayor and 2 trustees positions are available. Each carries a 4-year term of office. Only registered Republicans residing in the village of Lewiston can participate. Democrats also to caucus. The Democratic caucus to nominate candidates for 1 4-year term as mayor and for 2 4-year terms as Lewiston Village trustee for the village of Lewiston will take place beginning at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, April 23rd at the Red Brick Municipal Building using the gymnasium entrance located at 145 North 4th Street. The village elections will take place June 16th. Only registered Democrats who reside in the village of Lewiston are eligible to nominate and vote for candidates at the caucus. Candidates selected must reside in the village of Lewiston. Those wishing to nominate or vote at the caucus are asked to bring photo identification. Niagara County Democratic Chair Anita Mullane has appointed Frances Flanagan as president of the village of Lewiston, chair of the caucus. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Ellicott Development eyeing Ace Hardware for Lewiston Plaza. Ace, the helpful place. Ellicott Development has submitted plans to the village of Lewiston to reconfigure building number 3 in its Center Street lot. The proposed tenant is Ace Hardware. In a letter to the municipality, Ellicott Development Planning and Development Coordinator Jeremy P. Wassel wrote, "In December 2016, we received planning board approval to construct our 3-building retail plaza at 760 to 790 Center Street, located in the northwest corner of Center Street and North 8th Street intersection. After some delays, COVID, supply chain, etc., buildings at 760 Center, number 1, number 2 at 790 Center Street opened in the spring of 2021, and building number 3 at 780 Center Street opened in the fall of 2021. We have been actively marketing commercial space since 2016, but the available commercial space has been slow to fill. In February of 2024, following a continued lack of success in securing commercial tenant for the ground floor of building number 3, we received planning board approval for an alternate plan to enclose the drive-through lane and convert the majority of the first floor of building number 3 into 10 market rate apartments, along with a small commercial suite approximately 3,100 square feet in size on the eastern end of the ground floor facing North 8th Street. Those plans ultimately proved to be cost prohibitive, and the ground floor conversion was put on hold. Recently, we executed a lease with a retail tenant to occupy the entire vacant commercial space, approximately 16,000 square feet, on the ground floor of building number 3. In order to accommodate the tenant's needs, we are proposing to enclose the drive-through lane. As proposed, the infill area on the front elevation will be detailed to match the adjacent storefront sections on the ground floor, including aluminum framed glazing and EIFS as proposed in the infill area. On the rear elevation include EIFS infill and a roll-up panel door to allow for deliveries. The site area around the building number 3 is proposed to remain in its as it currently exists and as initially in the December 16th plan. Ellicott Development currently has Tim Hortons as a tenant in Plaza Building Number 1 and Quest Diagnostics as a renter in Building Number 2. The top floor of Building Number 3 features residential rental units. The plaza was first proposed to the village toward the end of 2012, following news Ellicott Development purchased the vacant land at 756 and 784 to 90 Center Street. The company's proposal was approved in November of 2016, and groundbreaking took place in November of 2018. The Tim Hortons opened in December of 2020. Per its website, Ace Hardware has over 5,000 stores around the world, with the majority of those stores independently owned and operated by local entrepreneurs. Ace stores come in all sizes and shapes based on the needs of each individual neighborhood. We have small urban stores, large rural stores, and everything in between. Founded in 1924 by a small group of Chicago hardware store owners, Ace changed the landscape by allowing individual stores to purchase merchandise in bulk to save money and buy at the lowest possible price. This partnership enabled even the smaller stores to compete effectively at retail despite larger stores in their market. And to this very day, Ace Hardware Corporation is still owned solely and exclusively by the local Ace retail entrepreneurs. NFP reached out to Ellicott Development on deadline for this week's edition. As of this writing, it would only offer a deal with Ace Hardware is conditioned on financing. A call to Ace Hardware Media was not returned. Mount St. Mary's Hospital leads EMS cardiac arrest simulation at Lewiston No. 1 Fire Company. On Monday, local emergency medical services, EMS, agencies participated in a coordinated cardiac arrest simulation drill in partnership with Lewiston No. 1 Fire Company and Mount St. Mary's Hospital. The drill was designed to test and strengthen coordination, communication, and patient care across all levels of emergency response from the scene through the hospital handoff. The exercise involved multiple patient care scenarios, including critical medical situations that may progress to cardiac arrest. All simulations began at Lewiston No. 1, where EMS crews initiated patient care at their respective levels of training and certification. Crews asked questions and performed appropriate life-saving interventions on scene, including treatment of cardiac arrest scenarios. At designated points during the simulations, crews were advised that pulses returned to mimic successful resuscitation efforts. Patients were transferred into simulation ambulance and transported to Mount St. Mary's Hospital for continued care. During transport, crews contacted the emergency department with patient reports so hospital staff could prepare for arrival as they would in real emergency. Upon arrival at the hospital, EMS providers delivered a formal handoff report to the attending physician, detailing treatments performed, medications administered, and the patient's current condition. The physician engaged EMS crews with follow-up questions to further replicate real-world emergency care transitions. System manager of EMS, Emily James, said, Monday evening's drill marked a milestone for Western New York. This was the first coordinated drill of its kind in the region, one that allowed EMS providers to simulate the entire continuum of an emergency medical response, from dispatch and on-scene patient care to transport, and ultimately the seamless transition of care to emergency department clinicians. This was a tabletop exercise. This wasn't a tabletop exercise. It was a full-scale, real-world simulation designed to mirror the moments that matter most when lives are on the line. The simulation exercise was built on the conception to execution by Catholic Health Systems EMS liaison, whose members include Philip Richardson, Taylor Zacharine, and Amanda Olson. Collaborative drills like this are not just valuable, they are essential. In emergency medicine, seconds count and patient outcomes depend on how well each link in the chain of survival functions and connects. When that chain is strong and coordinated, patients have a far greater chance of survival and recovery. This is precisely why the collaborative relationship between Catholic Health and our EMS partners is so critical. By strengthening the connection between pre-hospital care and hospital treatment, we are directly improving patient care, survival rates, and outcomes. The drill also provided EMS providers with first-hand experience inside the fully operational emergency department in Mount St. Mary's Hospital. Participants not only saw how emergency care is delivered, but also that EMS has the capacity to admit, or MSM, Mount St. Mary's Medical, has the capacity to admit patients to both the medical surgical unit and intensive care unit. This capability ensures Niagara County residents can remain in their community and receive safe, state-of-the-art critical care close to home. First-hand knowledge is powerful. It equips EMS providers with the insight they need to make informed, confident decisions where patients should be transported. These decisions can make the difference between life and death. Drills like these strengthen trust, sharpen coordination, and ensure that when the call is real, every provider is ready. Incidentally, the simulation ambulance has a storied history, having served at Ground Zero almost 25 years ago. It was driven by Lewiston firefighters who assisted in the aftermath of 9/11. McKimmey to host Coffee with Chris with special guest Ort. Niagara County Legislator Chris McKimmey will host his next Coffee with Chris community forum from 9 to 10 a.m. on Saturday, April 18th at Grace Lutheran Church in Niagara Falls. The event will feature New York State Senator Rob Ort, who serves as Republican leader of the New York State Senate. Coffee with Chris provides residents of Niagara Falls in the town of Niagara an opportunity to engage directly with elected officials, ask questions, and discuss issues impacting their community, including public safety, affordability, and state policy. Senator Ort has joined us before and always brings a straightforward and insightful perspective on what's happening in Albany. McKinney said, "I'm looking forward to having him back and giving residents the opportunity to hear directly from him." McKinney hosts the monthly event to ensure accessibility and open communication between residents and their government. The informal setting allows meaningful conversation on the issues that matter most to the community. The event is free and open to the public. No reservations are required. McKimmey provides Tim Hortons Coffee. Grace Lutheran Church is located at 736 Cayuga Drive in Niagara Falls. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Oakwood Cemetery Association announces a new leadership start of restoration projects. The Oakwood Cemetery Association announced the results of its recent annual meeting, confirming its leadership team and outlining a transformative vision for the historic grounds funded by significant state and philanthropic grants. During the meeting, the Oakwood Cemetery Association officially appointed its board of directors for the upcoming term, unanimously re-electing Douglas Moradian to another term as president, where he will continue to lead the group's strategic efforts. Additionally, Connie Brown continues her vital role as director, overseeing day-to-day operations and community outreach of the historic site, along with Director of Operations Cynthia Troman, and Supervisor of Grounds and Crematorium Michael Baxter. Additional officers who were elected include Audrey M. Zygand as Vice President, Patrick Bradley as Treasurer, and Christopher Brown, Esquire, as Recording Secretary. Board members include Dennis Collins, Dana DeFazio, Robert Zingen, John Mantell, Dr. Joy Menace, and Nelson Thomas. The Oakwood Cemetery Association is working in close collaboration with the Oakwood Heritage Foundation board members, which includes the newly elected president, Laura Fitzgerald, vice president, Emily Gerard, treasurer, Patricia Gallardo, and secretary, Katrina Kuhn. The Oakwood Cemetery Association also highlighted the start of their significant restoration project that is being supported by a $2.25 million Regional Economic Community Assistance Program grant from Empire State Development, with additional funding provided by the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation. Work will include new roof, structural repairs, stonework, and painting for the chapel building built in 1877, the magnificent green and Wicks marble mausoleum built in 1913, and the stone office built in 1922. All of the buildings will be used for future heritage tourism and programming in conjunction with the Niagara Falls National Heritage Area. This grant allows us to restore and protect our architectural treasures that tell the story of Niagara Falls, Moradian said. These projects will ensure that Oakwood Cemetery remains beautiful, safe, and historically intact landmark that visitors can enjoy for generations to come. Oakwood Cemetery in Niagara Falls serves as the final resting place for many of the city's founding families and notable figures, and is dedicated to preserving the history, art, and nature of the Niagara region. Established in 1852 on land donated by Lavina Porter, daughter of Judge Augustus Porter, who is recognized as founder of Niagara Falls and one of the largest landowners, the Oakwood landscape we know today dates from an original design drawn in 1852 by noted civil engineer T.D. Judah. Drake Whitney, nephew of 3 Whitney sisters, for which 3 Sisters Island are named, refined the map in 1882. In 1913, Oakwood built magnificent marble mausoleum designed by Buffalo architectural firm Green and Wicks. The Oakwood Mausoleum was built to the very highest standards with 1-foot thick walls of concrete covered by hand-cut gray Vermont marble. The exterior features soaring stone columns supporting a centered entrance portico. Within were crypts for over 350 interred individuals, and the interior was faced and floored in white Vermont marble, lit by clerestory windows and 2 stained glass windows, one by Louis Comfort Tiffany. Huge bronze doors enter into the chapel space centered in the mausoleum. Oakwood would become final resting place for families whose names are associated with the growth and development of Niagara Falls as a great industrial city and a world-renowned tourist attraction. Along with the Whitneys, these families include the Shokoffs of hydroelectric power fame, the Oppenheims, the Sibberbergs, the Foles, the Hayburls, the Tattersalls, the Hollies, and both Porter brothers. Among those buried at Oakwood, one finds Annie Edson Taylor, the first person to travel over the falls in a barrel. Holman Walsh, the young kite flyer whose kite and progressively larger ropes sent the cable across the gorge for the suspension bridge, and the famed Hermit of Goat Island. The cemetery also includes a memorial to comrades of the Grand Army of the Republic, veterans of the Civil War. Oakwood today contains many outstanding examples of funerary art, including obelisks, sarcophagi, and beautiful statuary. Additionally, the landscape is lush with nature's plantings and trees, many dating from the earliest time of the cemetery. It continues to serve the community with the cemetery columbarium and grave sites, including newly available family plots formed by the expansion of previously smaller burial sites. A budget built on efficiency in Youngstown. Over the previous 3 years, I have collaborated with our department heads, village clerk, and treasurer to construct a budget that will reflect the goal of doing more with less. In times of high inflation and labor shortages, that can be a tall order. I am pleased to announce that for the 3rd consecutive year, there will not be an increase in village property taxes. Drafting the budget is truly a team effort. We ask all department heads to submit their respective wish list for their department, but also indicate their must-haves. I then meet with each department head one-on-one to review each line item for their department. After completion of those interviews, I then work with Treasurer Larson Clerk Long, and Deputy Clerk Treasurer Winning to pull it all together. This process takes vision, sacrifice, and teamwork. This is a budget explanation or article by Ricky Stortecki, who is the deputy mayor for the village of Youngstown. Although our budget is still in draft form and some tough decisions still remain, the goal for the end product is always the same: efficiency. The budget is built on a foundation of efficiency, following the do more with less philosophy. We look to cut costs when we can, as evidenced by dramatic savings that resulted from shopping our employee benefits. We look to increase revenue where possible. For example, we have increased our earned interest revenue by approximately $100,000 per year. Additionally, we have purchased the water tower property and have multiple telecommunication company contracts generating revenue for the village. We were also successful in transferring ownership of the cold storage property to a developer. This removed a large liability from the village without a cost to the taxpayers, while also dramatically increasing future tax revenues for the village. A win-win. We have also been utilizing grants to lower the tax burden on our residents. The grants have ranged from an REDI grant that fully reconstructed Water Street to a recently awarded Greenway grant to construct a bike path and new ADA compliant bathrooms in Faulkner Park, as well as multiple NYSERDA grants for our recreation department. Another focus of our recent budgets is to increase our contingency budget. Historically, the village has had very little appropriated for contingency, although we have been working on improving our aging infrastructure. We still have a long way to go. With our aging infrastructure, it's prudent to have an ample contingency budget so we have the ability to address unforeseen expenses, such as water line breaks, sewer lift station repairs, and ongoing maintenance of the village center and other municipal property. Although the contingency for 26-27 has not been finalized, it will be an important piece of the overall budget. The adoption of the budget will take place at 6 p.m. Thursday, April 30th, in the village boardroom. We encourage residents to take part in the process and attend the meeting. Erie County Sheriff's Office advises on e-bikes and scooters. This is by John Garcia, Erie County Sheriff's Office. Watching people flock to trails and bike paths across Erie County is one of my favorite parts of the spring. This will surely be happening in the coming weeks as the weather improves. At the Erie County Sheriff's Office, we are committed to ensuring you can enjoy your recreational activities safely. Unfortunately, law enforcement agencies from across our region respond to several accidents involving electric bikes, electric scooters, and dirt bikes in 2025. Many resulted in injuries, and tragically some were even fatal. I wrote about these mobility devices in my column last July. With an increasing number of them across our area, I must do so again this month in hopes that it will raise awareness of the dangers if they are not operated properly. The good news is that more communities took action and addressed this issue over the winter months. In January, the village of Springville passed a local law regulating bicycles and scooters that have electric assistance. The law states e-bikes and e-scooters may only be operated on village streets and highways if they have posted speed limits of 30 miles per hour or less. E-bikes may only be operated on sidewalks and multi-use paths if electric motor The electric motor does not provide assistance once the device reaches a speed of 20 miles per hour, unless otherwise restricted, the resolution or posted signs. Perhaps most importantly, reckless, careless, or negligent operation of an e-bike or e-scooter is prohibited. Our deputies and other law enforcement officials have been authorized to issue tickets and civil citations if necessary. None of this is punitive in nature. It is intended to be preventive. We all want to avert the next tragedy. The prevalence of these mobility devices is a fantastic thing. They allow people, especially our youth, to get outside and explore their community. Your teen may operate an e-bike or an e-scooter for the first time in the coming weeks. It is important to review the rules governing the use of these devices in your community and discuss those rules with your children. Each municipality is empowered to promulgate such regulations by state law, and they may vary from town to town. That said, no matter where you are in New York, you must be 16 or older to operate an e-bike or e-scooter. We want your children to get outside and enjoy themselves, but we want them to do so without putting themselves or anyone else at risk of injury or worse by acting recklessly. Let's work together to make it happen. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Sentinel, Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Erie County is offering 2 free rabies vaccine clinics in May. Erie County will host 2 free drive-through rabies vaccine clinics in May at sites in the town of Tonawanda and the city of Buffalo, inviting pet owners to take advantage of this public health service to protect dogs, cats, and ferrets from this 100% fatal disease. Saturday, May 2nd at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the town of Tonawanda Highway Garage, 450 Woodward Avenue, Kenmore, New York, located off Military, north of Kenmore Avenue. Saturday, May 9th at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Buffalo Public School 84 parking lot at 462 Grinder Street, Buffalo, located off the Kensington Avenue on ECMC campus. Registration is available at Erie County Rabies Vaccine. Appointments are required. Up to 3 pets will be accepted per appointment. Individuals who are unable to access online registration may call 716-961-6800. 6800, yes. During business hours to schedule an appointment. Dogs, cats, and ferrets 3 months of age and older are eligible for the vaccination. Pet owners are asked to bring proof of their pet's vaccination with them to the event in order to receive a 3-year vaccination certificate. Otherwise, a 1-year certificate will be given. Dogs must be secured with a collar and a leash or restrained in a carrier. Cats and ferrets must be restrained in a secure carrier. Please do not use retractable or extended leashes. For more information, Erie County Department of Health and Rabies, contact erie.gov/rabies vaccine. Spring begins at Hibbard's. There's a picture with several people holding cups of frozen custard. Great. Even Mother Nature is a fan. Hibbard's Original Frozen Custard opened last Friday, a warm day in the middle of a cold stretch, at 105 Portage Road, Lewiston, New York. Jane McGrath of Lewiston was the first customer of 2026. She ordered a chocolate custard in a regular cone. The classic, as she called it. McGrath said it was happy coincidence to be the first in line. I was going to the liquor store for Easter product, she said. McGrath saw staff working at the custard stand and walked over. There's nothing better than Hibbert's custard, she said. No better ice cream, nothing. It's the best. To start the season, Hibbert's original frozen custard is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, extending hours once summer starts and school ends. Patrons will be pleased to know Hibbert's has kept prices the same for the third year in a row, with fees going up just about everywhere and for everything else. Proprietor Chris Trunzo said, increasing the cost of custard was the last thing the family wanted to do to customers. Hibbert's offers its daily core for custards, chocolate, vanilla, black raspberry, and pistachio, as well as a rotating roster of flavors. Day one featured cookies and cream, peanut butter, and cherry cheesecake. Guests also can order Perry's ice cream. Milkshakes can be made with either the custard or the ice cream. Malt is free. For those looking to up their dessert game, Hibbert's offers sundaes, floats, coolers, and the Hibbert Hurricane custard topping mashup. Art Park to host Howard Jones' Things Can Only Get Better tour, with special guests Wayne Chung, the English Beat, and Modern English, and hosted by Sirius XM Richard Blade. Art Park and Company announces an evening of iconic 80s hits with Howard Jones. Things Can Only Get Better tour, featuring full performances by Howard Jones, Wang Chung, The English Beat, and Modern English, and hosted by Sirius XM Richard Blade. The mega bill will take place at the Art Park Outdoor Amphitheater in Lewiston, starting at 6 p.m. August 12th. All four artists will perform full sets. Fans can expect to hear the biggest hits from the decade, including Things Can Only Get Better, What Is Love, No One Is to Blame, Dance Hall Days, Everybody Have Fun Tonight, Save It for Later, I Confess, and I Melt With You. The concert is presented by Art Park and Company. Tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. Friday, April 10th. Prices include a facility fee. Additional charges apply for online orders. Purchases online at Ticketmaster.com or artpark.net. By phone, they can be purchased at 716-754-4375 or in person at Art Park Box Office, 450 South 4th Street, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. April 10th. Of the upcoming tour, Jones said, I dreamed of curating a tour with my favorite bands that could bring some positivity in our troubled times. I'm thrilled that this is actually happening this summer with the Things That Can Only Get Better tour. Joining me and my friends Wang Chung, The English Beat, Modern English, and Richard Blade, I'm so excited to be touring with these amazing talents. Our aim is to bring some joy with banging pop anthems that we all know and love. Things Can Only Get Better is a message of hope and future for a future that we can create when we stand up for the world and we want to live in. Can't wait to see it this summer. Wayne Chung's Jack Hughes and Nick Feldman said, "We are very excited to be joining Howard on this tour. We have known each other ever since the 80s, but have never toured extensively together before. We have worked with Dave Wakeling in the English beat and modern English before more recently. They are all great guys and exciting bands. 4 British bands bringing their hits and the unique 80s energy to your hometown. Don't miss it." Modern English, as Robbie Gray added, "We will be great touring with old friends again. Every night will be a top night. We will play songs from our latest album, 1, 2, 3, 4. And, of course, the classic early material, that song, I Melt With You." Looking back, 66 years ago, April 14th, 1966, pay raise given island teachers by school board. At the April 11th school board meeting, board members voted unanimously to raise teachers' salaries from $5,000 minimum at the bachelor level to $5,300 for the first year of teaching service. The 13-step schedule sets these other figures. Maximum for a bachelor degree is $8,353. Master's degree level of $5,936 to $9,248. Previous schedule went from $5,450 to $8,570. Teachers with master's degree and 30 hours of additional work may earn up to $9,924 in their 13th year of teaching. President Francis Stevenson noted 75% of those adopted raises were state mandates for the school year of 1966-67. An additional 25% was added to keep the school district on a competitive basis with other area schools. All members voted in the roll call, after which President Stevenson asked that Richard Meredith, chairman of the Salary Committee, inform GITA members the adoption of the schedule. 50 years ago, on April 14th, 1976, Island Senior joins Army. Judith Tyrell of 3005 Stony Point Road was enlisted in the U.S. Army's Delayed Entry Program, signing up on April 7th, 1976. Judith is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Harry Tyrell. She will graduate from Grand Island High School on June 27th, enter the U.S. Army on December 21st, with basic training at Fort McClellan, Alabama. After basic training, she will attend Army Service School at Fort Sam Houston in Texas for training as a clinical specialist. The training lasts 40 weeks. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the April 10th issue of the Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island. We read from the Tribune Sentinel every Saturday at 4 p.m. Your reader has been P. Fitz. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. At 6 o'clock, we got the Wall Street Journal Off Duty. And at 7 o'clock, we got Harper's Magazine. Stay with us for these readings and more. If you or people you know shop at any of the Dash's supermarkets, please save Dash's register tapes for radio reading. Our agency receives $2 for every $100 in Dash's register tapes. Radio reading has raised thousands of dollars so far. Anyone can drop off their Dash's tapes to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, between William and Clinton Streets. or Dash's tapes can be mailed to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227. Any questions on Dash's tapes for radio reading? Call us at 716-821-5555, and thanks for caring. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes